Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Valhelsia 3. So, before we get started on Create, I've got a plan for what I want to do with Create to get us started today. But I did want to pop you over to the village just really quickly. I was over here getting some materials. Hasn't been a lot of time since the last episode. I was in my test world for a bit, but I figured out exactly what I want to do. We did get a raid horn, which I'm assuming starts a raid, maybe? We will check that out, but not today. It's not what I want to do today. I did get another builder set up, just so we've kind of got a builder a little bit closer to this area. And also got this plantation built up. It is actually a tier 3 at present. So you can see it's a lot nicer than it was before. A lot nicer area here. So I'm going to head back over real quick, and then I'm going to talk you guys through a couple things that we're going to be setting up today. Because today, what I would like to do is I would like to get on with Create over in our lodge. And to do that, I think the best place to start, the first project that we should have, is actually providing kinetic power to the lodge itself. Because right now, we do have kinetic power generation in that area down, kind of in the aqueduct area. But I want to keep that as its own separate thing, and I want to do kind of a themed setup for our initial kinetic power with Create. I want to do a little setup for that, and my idea is we're actually going to have kind of a boiler room in place. So this boiler room, of course, I think most buildings like this, like in a cold climate like this, would have a boiler room, and we're going to have it under, like, beneath this floor. So we're going to kind of have a basement floor. I'm debating about sticking the staircase over here, because we do have a bit of clearance that I can kind of get up underneath the floor here. And then what I'm thinking is we have, we have these little areas underneath the walkway. So like if we come over here, these little areas down here, and maybe add like a couple places that you can actually enter the boiler room from outside, right? But give me some time to build this out and just kind of, but at least dig it out to where we can actually use it today. And then we're going to get started setting up a boiler room that's going to both heat our lodge as well as power it, give it our initial kinetic power. Okay, I got this all cleared out and went ahead and added stairs here. I decided on stairs instead of just a ladder like hatch, because I think it'll just look better. I think just a hatch on the floor would be awkward right in here, like in this little space. It'd be kind of awkward, and I think stairs will work better. They are a little bit low, having this beam that runs across here, but there is really enough clearance. But I don't know. I might adjust it, may put stairs or something there. I don't know. But I did go ahead and I spent some time prepping some stuff because we do have a pretty big setup that we need to get underway. So I've got a bit of stuff prepped up here. And then I've got a bit of stuff prepped up here. This is pretty expensive, but it's actually going to be a fun setup. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that's being made and automatically generated for us as well. Because I was debating on how I want to do power. I think a windmill down here is kind of lazy to do that. Unless, I don't know, I mean, I guess if we did an engine or something like that. But I wanted to kind of stick with the idea that this is a boiler room that sits underneath the base. So what we're going to do first and foremost, we're going to grab our lava. We are going to grab our pistons, our sticky pistons, our redstone repeaters, our redstone. Like I said, I think there's enough stuff here, but there may not be. We'll have to see. We'll get our redstone torches, and I think that's good. Let's go ahead. I've dug out a couple notches here, and we're going to dig back. This is going to be, let's see, be here. So that'll be 1, 2, and we're going to dig back 12, and then one more back. We're going to dig this out. I'm going to go ahead and dig these out as well. All right, we're going to dig back like that, and we're going to put in pistons right here. And then we're going to do the same thing over here, so we can basically just dig back 12 into this little cavity here. So 2. We're not going to be able to go. We're not going to be able to go back 12 right here because we do have the edge of the mountain. Oh, I was not expecting that. Okay, so in that case, I could go back 12 on this side instead. Okay, so that's good. And then we'll have to fix this floor, which is fine. We'll go ahead and open this up and put in 3 pistons here. Okay, let me check over here. I need to see if... Okay, we're not above the ground. I'm trying to fit all this in. It's getting a little bit difficult. Alright, so we're going to put in sticky pistons on the top. And what we're going to be building is a very... oh, I just thought of something, though. This is grass blocks. Okay, I actually need to dig this down a little bit farther. I need to make this come down. I didn't even think about needing the space above this. And it coming out that far and kind of being outside. So yeah, I'm going to drop this like 2 blocks. And so that'll put our pistons here. And then that'll put our sticky pistons right up here. And that's going to give us plenty of room to run the redstone and stuff. So we're going to be setting up just a very vanilla cobblestone system. So we're going to dig this out. We're going to dig this back one more. Open this up. We're going to put our lava over on this side. And then we're going to get some water. I did set up a little infinite water source over here. And we'll put water there. There. There we go. Okay, and so now what we're going to do, we're going to run some redstone, and this is going to have a little timer system and stuff. Let me just get up on top of this and behind it. Okay, so we'll just open this up a little bit. Now, if we pull this off, I think we'll be okay to run a little bit of redstone up here. Let's put down some stone there, and we're going to run some redstone dust over the top of the stone, like so. And then we're going to put repeaters, let me open this up just a little bit more here. We're going to put repeaters feeding into these pistons, some redstone dust right there. And so if we activate this, you can see the pistons extend right there. And if we activate that, the pistons go down. And when they retract, they're going to pull that cobblestone back up. So, but anyways, the cobblestone will get pulled up, and that's what we want to happen. And then what we're going to do is just run this out. Let's do... Let me open this up just a little bit here. And we're going to put a block there. Have the redstone ran down by one. One right there. And then we're going to have it go into a repeater. Set this up to 4. And then we'll have that go into another repeater set up to 4. And then just run that over like that. Okay. That's the basic setup. Torch there so we can see a little bit better. And then over here we're going to set up just a vanilla timer system. And this is what the torch is for. So if we'll set it up right over here. What we're going to do is we're going to have this redstone. It's going to come out, say, right here. We'll turn that up to 4. And then it's going to curve back and come out right here on 4s. And then we'll have our block set there and our redstone torch set there. And so you can see that it is now running, except yeah, I'm gonna have to move the lava. So then we'll put the lava in there, and I will have to break off the first little bit of cobblestone because it is going to make some cobblestone here. That's not where we want it. We want it over by 1. And there is pistons within Create. I did consider using those, except for the fact that they just run... They can run pretty fast, and they're a lot more intelligent than normal pistons, but... and a lot more useful in a lot of ways than vanilla pistons. But the thing is, they really don't perform as well when they're running really, really fast as just vanilla pistons. And we want these things to just run extremely fast. And be able to basically keep up with this whole system. And these will just work a bit better. And we don't really need anything fancy in this case. So basically, whenever this makes cobblestone, it's got a delay system so that these pistons are going to go first because they're not going through repeaters. where these are held back by an 8-tick delay and then a 1-tick delay here before then going into these pistons. So sticky pistons drop first, they grab this cobblestone, then they bring it up, then these pistons move it forward, and then the whole cycle repeats. So if we put this in right here, and then this, of course, is just a timer system is all it is. So it's going to start bringing up our cobblestone, as you can see, and moving it over to here. And now it's stopped, because the piston can no longer push it at this point. So that side's working perfectly. So let me just block that off. And we will change this block to something else. I didn't worry about decorating this out just yet, because I figured, well, we'll probably end up ripping this up a little bit. Okay, so let me go ahead and just dig this out and set up our cobble gen over on this side. And in this case, since I'm not doing those little corner pieces, I can set this up more like I have it in my test world, which I actually like more. So in here, I do have 4 mechanical drills. We're actually only going to use 2. In my test world, I used 2, and then I was like, well, since I have it in the corner, it might work better with 4, so I made 2 more. Luckily, they're not expensive. But in this case, we're only going to need 2 mechanical drills. And we're going to get our mechanical bearing. We're going to get these small spruce beams. I played around with some other materials. They actually seem to work best. So we're going to be going with these and the mechanical drills because they kind of have like a spruce texture here. So we're going to go with that. And what we're going to do is we're going to run... we're going to have the... Let's see, we're going to have a floor... We'll have the mechanical drill setting here. I may have to change the direction in a minute. We'll see. And then a mechanical drill setting there. We're going to have our spruce beams. And at this point, we're going to use a little bit of glue also. This will be our first time using glue for something that is not a windmill. We're going to have our beams come over. They're just kind of glued in right there. And then we're going to go ahead and just glue that, and have our beam setting right there. Now, we could either have our floor come a little bit higher. Actually, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to have glue here, beam. Yeah, let's go ahead and bring it all the way up. So we'll have glue there, beam, and then right here, we're going to put down a, probably do it better from here, we're going to put down a mechanical bearing right there. Okay, so this is kind of like the windmill in that whenever this gets rotational force, it's going to spin. Well, the windmill produces mechanical force as it spins. This consumes mechanical force. But it's going to cause this whole structure to spin, and in addition, it's going to make the mechanical drills spin and do what they do best, which is actually dig the stone in this case. I had considered, like, I mean, realistically, you could have this as simple as cobblestone generator sitting here, mechanical drill digging it. Like that. And then just plug power into it. But to me, that's kind of boring. And I want to have moving parts. So we're going to have this system that's actually breaking cobblestone for us. Okay, so at this point, what we need to do is actually craft what we're going to be using to produce our kinetic power. Because we are going to be using something that we're going to have to craft. And we're going to have to use a new crafting mechanic to craft that. So we're going to get this set up. So what I've got here is I've got 9 mechanical crafters, and this is the crafting system that we're going to be using for actually crafting what we need. There's 2 different things that we need that require the mechanical crafter. You know, we talked about certain things needed to be crafted through this before when we looked at the crusher. We're not going to be making a crusher today, but we are going to be making 2 things that do require this. Okay, so what we're going to do, the mechanical crafter, we need to basically just attach a cog to it, and I left my cogs upstairs. Of course I did. I can probably craft. I'd probably have the stuff to craft one though. What would be the best way? Actually, for setting this up, what we're going to do, we're going to just tap it into here. So we're going to put in a small cogwheel there. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring these up, and I'm going to have to dig out a little spot in the floor. This is just temporary. Okay. So at this point, what we can do is we can now craft on here. And we're going to be making ourselves, first up, a furnace engine, a few of these. So we're going to put in pistons. Oh, wait. I should probably rearrange this first. So what we're going to do is let's rotate this, because this is the direction that things are going to travel. And then we're going to go like that. like that. So it's going to go around like so, and then it's going to come out on this side. We're going to put that in, put our brass casing in, and then we're going to put our brass sheets in, and then once everything is filled, you can see these are going to start moving, and they're going to travel together until everything gets crafted out. And there we go. There is our furnace engine. Now I need to make a few more of these. So let me go ahead and just get these crafted out. All in all, I have enough materials on me to make 6, which is what we're going to want. So let me just get these made. And this is how you use the mechanical crafter. Now the next recipe that we're going to be making does require a slightly different setup, but it's still the same basic premise. Now the other thing that we're going to be making is we are going to be making, this is the really expensive part, we're going to be making 6 flywheels. These right here. Now you'll notice when looking at this, you'll notice that this brass casing is just kind of setting off here. That is required in the recipe. It does require 9 mechanical crafters. One has to be off on the side. So for this, what we'll do is we'll just, oops, I lost one there, I think. What we're going to do is we're just going to pull out this middle one here. Actually could have left that one over there. That's fine. Mechanical crafters here. Mechanical crafter here. Now once again, we're going to make sure that our belts are lined up. So what we're going to do is we're going to have it go up, to the right again. We're going to have it go down, down, to the left, and then end off here. So then if we put our brass casing in there, we fill this in like so. You'll see this one starts moving, travels around, and collects the rest of the recipe. And you can see it's kind of building it there as it does this. And then there is our first flywheel. So just like before, we're going to make 5 more of these real quick. Okay, I actually started setting this up and pretty much got it all set up, but I wasn't happy with the way that it was laid out because it was a little bit compacted for my taste. So we're going to be setting it up again proper this time. So what we're going to do now, I dumped everything into here. Let's grab our furnace engines, our flywheels, our furnaces. And what we are going to do, we're going to set up these furnaces just... We're going to do furnace... Or do I want them... Let's actually bring them out by 1. We're going to do furnace, furnace, furnace. Like that. And on top of these, we're going to go ahead and just put hoppers. And for right now, this is going to be manually fed wood. Or, well, basically we're going to have to go out and chop wood and fill it into a chest. So we're going to go ahead and grab that chest. And let's go ahead and grab some shafts and some mechanical belts, because we are going to need these. So early on, until we get our tree farm in place, we are going to be kind of manually feeding this system a little bit. And I'm actually going to dig this floor down a little bit farther. I discovered there really wasn't as much room down here as I would have hoped, or in my head that I would have. So we're actually going to dig this down just a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have this chest. And let me go ahead and grab these funnels also. You can see I had to make a few more of these. We're going to have a... I guess we'll have the loading area be here. That should be fine. And then right up here we're going to have a chest set up. And we'll decorate all this stuff out and everything. For right now I just want to get the setup in place. And then, actually the chest will need to go up by... Or space it back. Yeah, let's actually plan on that. So we're going to have... shafts that run out to say right here, and we're just going to run a mechanical belt over the top of this. This is actually going to be kind of like somewhat of a closed system for this part. And then what we're going to do, let's actually do it on this side, because we are kind of spacing this out. Let's rotate that, and then we're going to come down. We take our mechanical belt, we run this up. There we go. So we do something like that instead. Run that over, and then right here we put in our chest, we put in our brass funnel, and that way it's basically going to pull out stuff from that chest and it's going to send it up and over on top of these furnaces. Which this will later on be automatically fed, but for now we'll basically chop wood, bring it down here to the furnace and feed it in. Okay. So that covers that. That's kind of a separate little system. That's the only one that's really going to be manual whatsoever at this point. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to put in a... Actually break this off a little bit. And let's just rotate that. We'll put in one right here as well, rotate that. And we're going to run mechanical belt over on this. And of course, if you feed things into the backside of a furnace, that is going to affect where the coal is placed. So we're going to run that back, and we're going to say that you are going to input. See this little arrow? That's saying, like right now it's saying that that's output. We're going to switch it to input. We want to pull from the belts and feed then into the furnaces with this. And we can set a filter on this. We're going to go ahead and do it just in case, but there's really only ever going to be charcoal coming down this line. So we can just put in charcoal right there. It's fine. And then we're going to have to handle stuff coming out of these furnaces. And what we're going to do for that is just attach a funnel. And we're going to rotate that. We want this to be pulling out the items and feeding them down. And that will be down then onto a belt system. So then what we'll do is we'll run it out to like right here is fine. And mechanical belt, mechanical belt. Okay. And so what these furnaces are going to be producing is our charcoal. This is going to be our charcoal system. So they're going to be making charcoal, and then that charcoal will then be sent down onto this conveyor, and it will be fed back over to feed them more charcoal. And then the wood, of course, comes up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to attach our furnace engines, and these just attach onto the furnace like so. They can go in any direction. We're going to be attaching to the front of these. And then we're going to take our flywheels, and we have to place these out by one block and then just a 90-degree angle. So like that. If it's set up correctly, you're going to see these little bars basically attaching over onto it. And that's what we want. Now this one is a little bit awkward because we do have, well, it'll actually be feeding straight into this conveyor belt. That actually works out perfectly. So we'll do that, and then right over here we are going to actually attach it on this side, and then attach one right here. Okay. And let me turn on F7 just so I can relight. And this floor, like I said, we're going to drop this probably about 2 more blocks, and then just kind of have stairs that come down over here into this area. And then it'll be kind of raised over here as well, so we can climb up on top of our cobblestone system there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is let's actually fire one of these up real quick. And I don't know, yeah, I've got a little bit of wood here. Let's fire this up, and I want to make sure that I want to see which direction that the belts are going to be moving if I just fire it up like this. I'm hoping that they're moving the correct direction, but we're going to find out. So if we were to throw in some wood into this, and we start this up, okay, that's actually going in the wrong direction at the moment. And sadly, there is no easy way for us to change this out. Unless we do it like that, then it would be going in the right direction. But now, of course, the kinetic power is coming out on this side, which isn't ideal. But you can see that the flywheels have 16,384 stress units. So they're actually pretty strong. And of course, we're going to have 6 of them across this room. So it's actually going to be pretty good power generation, honestly. But I guess in this case, what we're going to do is have this one rotated. And something worth noting on this is if this is burning, but not actually burning anything, it will still produce mechanical power. Also, these do work with external heaters from Immersive Engineering. I did test that, and they do work. So just a heads up there as well. Well, that slightly clips, but not really much. I might actually, let me shift all this over by 1. So that way it just looks a little bit better for us. Alright, so that part's in place, and then what we're going to do is if we were to run out mechanical power, and let's go with maybe a vertical, let's go with a vertical gearbox. So if we set this in right there, and then if we were to get these fired up, let's go, we'll just go with 1 on each of these, because I'm not worried about wasting coal at this point. I've got a bit built up. Both of these can run And they can send their mechanical power up from here, like through a shaft. We're going to put a shaft in right in there on our mechanical belt. And then let me get... let me just grab my gearboxes. We're going to have a vertical gearbox, bring this power up, and then we'll just run that straight across like that. And then if we were to toss that in, yeah, see, that's going in the wrong direction. We don't want it to go in that direction. We want it to go in the other direction. So we'll just change this over. And we'll do so just by putting in a gear shaft and then letting that have a redstone signal. And actually I might go with the just for looks, we'll go with an analog lever instead. Okay, so that's going to start flowing in the correct direction, and now we just need to bring our kinetic power over. To make this corner, let's actually do cogwheels like that, and then we'll have these run into an encased chain drive. Can I run the shaft up? Yeah, I can. And we'll have it go into an encased chain drive there. And so now, if we were to power this, we throw that into there, that's going to start turning. Oh, but it's going to be reversed. And then if we run out this to that, that's fine. What we can do is just put in a gearbox, or just do another, well, gearbox will be fine. Put that there. And now that's all going to start flowing up in the right direction. So we're using the mechanical belt right there to just keep this moving. And so items will get sent into this. If we were to throw in spruce log, it gets pulled out now. And it gets sent up the conveyor belts. And it's going to go over, and you can see that the hopper will be able to grab it and send it down into this furnace. So, and it seems like the charcoal's automatically getting deposited, which is nifty. I didn't think it would do that. So that side's done, and then we'll have to just plug up this, or this one I mean, and bring its power, you know, wherever. But now what we need to do is we need to bring down some power into this. And so I think the easiest way, where is this? Oh yeah, I got an idea. If we attach our shaft, a shaft in right there, bring that out like that, and we bring a shaft out right here. We run this down with the mechanical belt. That's going to provide power to this. And then if we were to run out a shaft line, say right here, a shaft line here, and run our belt, that's going to provide power now to this one. Okay, so now if we were to start up this, and we toss in, you know, a little bit of wood, we can see that this belt and this belt are now flowing off in this direction. Alright, really this one, probably best to alternate it, so we can do that easily just with a gearbox, or let's see, we could put a gearbox in right there, which would work, or let's actually just snap this off for right now. We'll provide the power back here instead to this one, but this is flowing in the right direction, so that's good. And this is going to be the charcoal that's coming down from these furnaces. So let me go ahead and just grab this. Let me toss that in. Now if it was to smelt up, I'm going to make sure that it's actually going down to the belt. It seems as though it's not wanting to send those items down. A regular hopper wheel, and I know when I said it before, I got the brass funnels to feed it down, but right now they're not wanting to. Yeah, and they were working fine before. I don't know. I'll have to mess around. But hoppers are fine on the bottom too. Then have the brass funnels kind of pulling off. I think they look better anyways. So we'll bring these out. These items are going to flow off in this direction. It's going to be charcoal from this. And we're going to attach a brass funnel in right here. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and say that you pull over and insert. And you will specifically be doing charcoal. There goes charcoal down onto the belt. And it gets pulled up now into this, onto this mechanical belt. if there was space. Now in this case, that's one nice thing about these conveyors over Immersive Engineering. There's no space. This inventory right here, it only holds one stack, let's say. Now, depending, you can move larger stacks at a time than just one. But if there's already a stack on there, it sees it as a completed stack. So it can't really add things to that stack. So this way it can just feed coal right back up to this system, which will then be flowing over. And I guess I do need to provide this with some power. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this up just a little bit. We're going to put in a gearbox just sitting behind this, just to change out the direction. And then we will add in shafts there, and then run mechanical belt up like so. And then if we apply just a little bit of wood here, we should see, oh whoops, and this needs to be set to insert, 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 like that. Now once this backs up, once it hits this point, it can't send it any farther as long as we keep a block right here, otherwise it can dump it off. So we will keep a block here, and that's just to stop the conveyor system. And coal will make its way up here, and it'll fill this engine first and make its way on down, which I will be filling these up initially. So that way this basically is going to keep a conveyor belt filled up with charcoal, so that we always have charcoal up here. And it basically prioritizes sending it here, because if there's space, it's going to go up here, which is where it needs to prioritize, just to make sure that these furnaces always stay running, because they are our initial charcoal creation. Okay, so then what we're going to do, these items kind of just come off, and if they can't go up there, they just kind of fall off right now. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start actually running these around, and we're going to set up our other furnaces. And this is where kind of the stone and stuff's going to come into play. So this is going to run around. This area will be raised a little bit so that we can step up and be, we'll basically be right in here. So we can work on the engine for the cobble system if we need to. So our other furnaces, we're going to have these set up. Yeah, so we'll make them almost start about the same place, but go back just a little bit further. So we're going to have furnace and furnace, or actually furnace, we'll make them kind of come up a little bit more, and then furnace like a couple blocks over, like right there, let's say. And then we're going to go ahead and attach our furnace engines, just like before. And we're going to attach our flywheels, so we're going to have one setting there, one setting here. Or actually, in this case, it's probably better if we just run it like that, and then one right there. Yeah, and then you'll be kind of walking between these flywheels if you come back to fill it with wood. Yeah, I might actually move, let me break this off, and let's put it here instead. Just so that this is a little bit more centered, so it'll be like that when you walk back. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and just attach a gearbox here, a vertical gearbox, because that's going to be our mechanical power that comes up. And then we'll handle this one in just a moment, probably just a vertical gearbox. And the first and foremost thing, since we already have coal being created, we may as well run the coal out. And this is going to come up, it's going to be being fed in the back, of course. So we'll go ahead and just dig this out. And yeah, this is going to be a lot better, a lot more spaced out than what I had before. So this will be nice. And so we're going to go ahead and just run our mechanical belt system. This will be the ending point for the coal. So we're going to set it up there. And we're going to say that, let's see, where are we at? I'm actually going to run this out one more. And I don't need that mechanical belt anymore, or that shaft, and we'll just run it out to here. And then what we'll do is we'll have shaft, and then run this out. And we're going to make it so that you can actually step up over this. Oh, this will actually need to come up by one. We'll do it on this end. That way we can easily step over the conveyors. So we'll run it out to say here. Shaft setting there. Mechanical belt. And this is where the steel scaffolding and stairs and stuff kind of come in, because we'll just be able to like step up and go over this very, very easily. And then we're going to have shaft. Guess we got our wrench. We'll just rotate it. And then we're going to have... actually, let me back it off by 1. Because ideally it would come up right there. It would start there. And then we'll have shaft sitting there. That runs over like that. This runs up. And then we're going to have shaft. And then mechanical belt brings the coal back along through here. So then we'll just attach the brass funnels. And I know this episode is getting long. We don't have too much more. We're going to say insert on all these. And you are going to be inserting charcoal. And once again, this is basically going to fill up this entire line right here. So that'll work for us. And then what we're going to do, it's going to basically prioritize sending charcoal to all of this before it does anything else. Then once all this is kind of filled out, we're going to handle that in a kind of nifty way, I think. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to be feeding items into this. Okay, and this is where this whole little system comes into play, because we are going to be producing charcoal from wood down here, but we're also going to be producing smooth stone and stone from this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in a hopper here and here, and we're going to put in shafts, I guess here will be fine, and just run that over. And this is going to drop off cobblestone. And we are going to have blocks at the end of these mechanical belts to just stop anything from going and just kind of falling off, because we don't want that to happen. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to put in a shaft here, and then we're going to run this down to say right here. And then we'll go ahead and just run this over like a couple more. So like that. And then we're going to have a shaft set up here. And this one's going to go down and basically go flush with this other one that we've got. So we'll just bring our belt up like that. It's going to deposit onto this, and it's going to go over. And then we're going to have this come back. Well, let's actually run this first. So over here, we are going to have... we're not going to need this. Let me fill that back in. We're going to have shaft. Actually, it would be better if it came all the way back. So we're going to do that. And then what we're going to do is have shafts then that feed over onto this one. And I'm going to have to plug all this up with kinetic power, which is fine. But really, once one of these gets kinetic power, and we're going to run this over, because what it's going to do is it's going to collect the cobblestone that falls, and then it's going to drop it. It's going to drop down to these mechanical belts where it's collected and then shipped over to this mechanical belt here. And so then what we'll do is we'll have these mechanical belts then bring it up. So let me actually run this out by one more. And then right here, it's going to start traveling up. So it comes up to right there. And then we'll just have it come out across. And of course, you'll be walking over this stuff. So break off that. Break off that. That. This runs out like so. And that runs down. Okay. So that's going to collect all the cobblestone, send it up here, and then it's going to send most of it over to this, right, and start smelting it. And then what we're going to do is have, so we'll have hoppers that come down off these furnaces and feed the items down, and then we're going to have mechanical belt system here. It's going to run over like that. And then, tell you what we'll do. We'll do a shaft there, a shaft there, and then we'll do a shaft line that just runs up. Let's see, it'll run up to here, and then just kind of get cycled over like that. And then like that. Okay, so basically what's going to happen is the cobblestone that's created will come around. It'll get smelted into stone in these two furnaces. And then once it becomes stone, it'll get cycled back up and make smooth stone. Now, we're going to add in something here in just a second for the remainder of this. But give me just a minute. I'm going to clean up this room just slightly and get some mechanical power ran over to there for starters, and then get basically mechanical power ran to all these belts really, really quick, and then I'll bring you guys back. Okay, I went ahead and connected everything up and made sure that the rotations were correct and everything. And so everything is kind of just plugged in now. And you'll notice that up here, where the smooth stone comes out, there is a belt that comes out, collects that, and brings it over. And then I brought this over and connected it so that excess stone and cobblestone can then also join this belt and come over. And then it all just kind of runs over here. Now this will eventually plug into our main belt that then goes up through the base a bit. Possibly in the next episode, we'll see. But for right now, what I want to do, let me just get this, and we're going to set up, let's just bring this up, and we're going to put in a spruce driller here, and then one here, here, and here. And then we'll just block this off. We shouldn't have any items come down this far, but we're going to put that there just to be on the safe side. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in funnels. There, 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 there. And I also put in a speedometer and a stressometer so that once we start running this, we can see kind of how much we're producing on stuff. So we're going to go ahead and set these to insert. And we don't really necessarily have to put a filter here, but we're going to. We're going to say that this one is regular stone. This one is smooth stone. And let me put this stuff into there. This one over here, the first one, will be charcoal. And then the last one here is going to be cobblestone. Because these are the four things that we'll be producing down here. And then we're going to put void upgrades into these three. I'll probably put one in that one as well. We'll see. So, and then I went ahead and I put steel catwalks over the top of this so that we don't fall down in there. It's a little bit tough to see down there, but I think maybe once everything's moving, it'll look good. And then I went ahead and put in cogwheels just to speed up the cobblestone breaking aspect of it. Now before we start running this, we are going to set up one other thing, and what we're going to do is we are going to take this mechanical arm, and this thing is crafted just like that, pretty straightforward. And let me actually have that gravel back, no reason to waste it. What we're going to do is we're going to put in, we're going to say just shift right click, and we're going to say take items from this belt, and we're going to shift right click a couple times and say deposit items to this belt. And then we can just put in our mechanical arm there. And you can see mechanical arm has one input, one output. And this thing's controlled by a cogwheel, so we're just going to put that right there. Now, generally, this thing's not fast enough that it can pull things off of, like, moving belts unless you speed it up or something. It tends to have issues with that. However, we've got it here as an overstock thing. So whenever charcoal starts backing up and it can't go anywhere, it's going to start grabbing that charcoal off and setting it onto this belt, which then just brings it around and feeds it over. That's how we're going to feed in our charcoal. Instead of just sending a bunch of it over, we're going to feed it over like that. And so now, let me pop upstairs. Now I went ahead and put clinker bricks to clean up. I actually had a lot of water over here where ice had melted, and it actually ran down and washed away my redstone. I had to replace that. So... but let me pop over and let me go get some wood real quick. And I do have to say I'm a lot happier with the way this one looks than my original setup, quite a bit. Because it was, before, pretty much all of this was packed into this little section over here. And it was way too compacted. Way too compacted. So what we're going to do, we're going to toss that into there, and then we're going to take this and just toss it into any of these furnaces here to kind of jumpstart the system. And you can see it's going to start pulling out the wood from that and sending it down. Go. Kind of get a little frame rate hit whenever it starts up, but I haven't restarted my computer in a bit, so that's potentially why as well. But you can see the mechanical arm starting to grab that charcoal. It's sending it over to here, and we should see it get deposited. Oh, it's a huge frame rate hit. 52. You can hear our yeah, there we go, 53. You can hear our cobble gen kind of kicking off. Oh, this is a huge frame rate hit. I haven't ran, I guess I had ran it before and it wasn't doing this, so I don't know. Oh, but I wasn't running the breaker whenever I did it. But you can see that this is kind of spinning and is breaking. Let's actually pop down there real quick. You can see right there that it's spinning and it's basically just breaking that cobblestone. That could be a lot of the reason, is because it's actually piling up down here, which isn't great. Honestly, the cogs here, they might be a little bit too much. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that they are, to be honest. Yeah, see, that kind of fixed the frame rate issue. I think I was just breaking way too much cobblestone. And if worse comes to worse, I can speed up the belts if I need to. Whoops. But hopefully, maybe I don't have to do that. Oh, and this, that is one small issue. Let me wait till it comes around. Break that off real quick. Yeah, and it's lined back up, as you can see. So now if we start it back up, if we put the shaft in, that happens whenever it starts up and the drills were stopped at a weird spot. So that just kind of fixes it. So it doesn't break it super fast, but it seems like it's not as laggy now. And it seems to be working a bit better, even though it is a little bit laggy. Create is a little bit laggy with big setups. But the cobblestone goes up and goes over these hoppers, right? And gets basically deposited into these furnaces, which you can now see running. Then it gets turned into smooth stone, which is then sent up. Here you can see those have stopped. That smooth stone then comes around and gets deposited over here. And we can actually ride this, apparently. And it gets smelted up into, well, into smooth stone, into, you know, the newer smooth stone. And then that gets sent up and around, and then that is sent over up over here, so you can see. And once the buffers fill up, we'll start getting cobblestone, regular stone, smooth stone, all of that building up into here as well. Now, as it stands right now, this will run for a bit, and then the charcoal will run out of over here, and then it'll basically keep feeding charcoal, and it'll run for a while. Because even once these have stopped running, you can see this one right here, I don't have enough wood to actually run that one as well. But this will, eventually it'll run out all the charcoal on this belt before finally shutting down. So, if we take a look at our speedometer, it's only 16 RPM for this system. I don't really feel the need to make it like super fast, because as you can see, I already get an FPS hit just running it at 16 RPM. So I think that's plenty. It's a lot better than when that thing was running like full throttle. And then our stressometer, we have 80,864 stress units remaining out of a total of 81,920 stress units. So we have a ton of stress units being created down here from these engines. It will be a little bit higher once this one here is running. You know, if I put enough wood in there to actually get all of them running, it'll be quite a bit more. But I think this should be sufficient to power a lot of our create automation. And right now we'll have to manually add wood in like we just did, but then over time, once we get the wood farm set up, it'll be completely automatic. Wood will get shipped over here via minecart, and then it'll get cooked up, and you know, we'll be creating stress units. But it looks really cool when it's running, so there is that. But yeah, so I know it's wrapping up point for this episode, so I'm going to end this one out here. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I think we got a pretty fun setup built, and I'm pretty happy with it. And I look forward to delving deeper come next episode. So I hope you guys join me for that. If you guys enjoyed the video, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.